Hello everyone, Tammy here. Welcome to my bookshelf. Today I am updating you about a writing project I've been working on for at least a year or more. And yeah, the manuscript has been sent off to our publisher, McFarland. I am the co-editor. I also have another teacher who is co-editing it with me, and I'm also writing some of it. She is too. Plus we have about 18 other authors who have participated in this really big project. It's an academic book where we look at derivatives of Jane Austen's work. So if you've seen a movie, for example, like the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice movie, that's something that we talk about. A lot of movies, we've looked at Bridgerton, of course, and the Sanditon from PBS, and we also have a lot of contemporary novels that are being discussed in the book that we're working on. So I got the manuscript to the publisher. Now the publisher wants us to change a little bit, which I'm okay with. It's not a huge deal. It's just, you know, it got frustrating because you want it done. Like when you feel like it's done, it's done. But anyway, he came back with some suggestions and some questions, which were all legit. So yeah, so we're not really done yet. But we're back at it. We're gonna finish it up. I just gotta suck it up, Buttercup. Finish this up. And it looks like probably it's going to be included on their spring catalog list, so that's really exciting. That will be spring 2024 when they mention it. I don't have a publication date yet. He did tell me, which I knew was at least 6 months. I knew that at least when I hand over the manuscript, it's a minimum of another 6 months typically. That's been my experience with any of the books I've ever, worked on. But he's telling me it's more like 8 months to maybe 12 months. So after I turn everything in. So, so I think it still might come out in 2024. I really hope so. Spring is usually the time when I think a lot of publishers start pushing their books out. So it would be really nice if it came out in spring 2024. But, if it doesn't, I'm convinced it'll come out. Jane Austen is actually a very popular topic still. When I suggested this book quite a few years ago, I sent in a proposal to a different editor than I have now, but to the same company. They published another book of mine back in 2015. And what was the deal? So I sent it to her, and then COVID hit, and then all hell broke loose. Okay, and everything went. And then I didn't hear from her for a really long time. And then I contacted her once things sort of settled down, but she was still with the company, but she was getting ready to leave. And she told me, Jane Austen is super popular. Resubmit it. Yes, you're not going to have, me as your editor, and you have to put it in the slush pile, but that's okay. And I waited. I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me think about that. I'm not sure if I'm ready to, go through all that, because you could send stuff in if you don't have a contact. It's my experience. It makes it very difficult. So I waited, and then out of the blue, I got an email from a different editor, an acquisitions editor from the same company, saying, hey, we saw this email that you had with this other editor who is no longer with us. Are you still interested in doing the book? And I was like, oh, I guess I am. I always try to think about what is the world telling me to do. And, when the world was dealing with COVID, it was telling me don't work on the book. Okay. And then it was telling me, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not time yet. But then when they came and approached me, I was like, okay, she's right. I should do it. So Jane Austen is always a timely topic, and I'm glad I went ahead and did it. But yeah, we're trying to wrap things up now. So it's just part of the process. It's been a few years since I worked on a project like this. I have to just keep reminding myself, eventually it's all gonna work out, and I'll get the book in my hot little hands, and I will be so happy that I did this. So just remember that. If you ever wanna do a book, it can take a lot of effort, but eventually it is worthwhile if your heart is in it. If you If you like what you're writing about, if you like your subject matter, if you like the process, there can be some difficult parts of it. It's not always easy. In fact, writing is probably one of the most difficult jobs you'll ever have. But the end result, when you have the finished product, especially if you're lucky enough to get a physical book, I mean, to me, the physical hard copy book in your hands, it makes a big difference versus, you know, all the digital text that's out there today. I feel like the digital text, I know it's what everybody's doing these days, but I feel like you get lost, you know, out there, and no one's going to see your title on a shelf, you know, in a store, and it's just very, very different. Well, okay, I guess I'm meandering off topic now, so I will wrap it up. But for those who care at all about my Jane Austen project, I will keep you continually posted until it's actually physically here and I can go, hey, here's my book. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little time with me and checking out to see what's on my bookshelf or what will be on my bookshelf someday. Give this a thumbs up if you don't mind and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye-bye.